Spivey from Florida. So Dallas is more of a maze. There's more parking issues. There's more traffic than Fort Worth, for sure. And you just have to stay on your toes more. I got on the toll for just a second. What happens is I delete some of these apps so I can save memory on the phone. If I lose footage, it's going to have to do with how much memory can be stored on the phone. If I switch up to an iPhone 15, if we go there, the next one, I'm going to see how much extra it would be to get the 250 gigabytes. And if I kept the show about the same, I'm going to be able to preserve more. But, you know, that could have been a copyright issue with Alejandro Escovedo and his music, you know, because he's a legendary musician. So it didn't make it into the show. A very small segment did. When Linda is coming out of the Amon Carter. She calls it Amon Carter, but it's Amon Carter. And she was walking out. You can hear a little bit of how it sounded. It was very kind of dark, and it was a little gothic almost. It was perfect. Reminded me of Grim Life stuff. Of course, we didn't have their camera and their gimbal, his mechanical gimbal, but I do have a gimbal. I just don't use it. It's too clunky and it's too slow. So I use the A.D.W.C technique, which is pretty much like, but he doesn't, Adam has a Canon G7 PowerShot Mark II. So it's not as clumsy, and he doesn't go with gimbal. Sometimes you can get more. Usually Grim Life, they're more controlled. They're going to be more thematic based, and they're going to really plan out their shots, and it's going to be very controlled. It's not going to be a whole lot of information coming to you, but it's going to be controlled information, and it's going to look really nice. Okay, so they take their time. I noticed whenever he went to England, and the first one was on Boris Karloff, he did not get any of the footage of the airport, nothing until he got to the neighborhood of Boris Karloff. Then he began filming there. So they're selective, they plan things, they're very filmmaker. It's kind of connected to Hollywood classicism. They're good filmmakers, they really are. But they do things very differently than the Woo style, which Woo's just pick it up and just kind of just go to town. That kind of thing. There's a difference. All right. I'm really looking forward to the vlogger versus vlogger script. That's one I'm going to try to get to De Niro if it's a possibility. I always have a movie star in mind when I hit a script. You don't always have to be that way. But I might try to do that one. I don't know. It may be this summer. The next project after Grace is probably going to wrap up Skinny Pete and Friends. Get a solid ended on Skinny Pete and Friends, and get that to Charlie Baker and see what he thinks, because he originated Skinny Pete on Breaking Bad, and then also carried over to Better Call Saul. See what he thinks. See if we can get in that way. That's the second attempt. Now, third, we might go to vlogger versus vlogger, which is a thing I wanted to pair Jordan the Lion kind of character with a De Niro, like a Robert De Niro, and see if that's going to be like a spy versus spy kind of story. It'll be a screenplay called Vlogger versus Vlogger. The other one that came to mind was Your Love with Paid Training. And that was like a love story centered around the song by Outfield called Your Love. Josie's on a vacation far away. Come around and talk it over. There's so much I want to say. You know I like my girls a little bit older. I just want to use your love tonight. I don't want to lose your love tonight. So it came to me through that song. Don't know if that one's going to take off. We'll have to find out after we patch up Skinny Pete and Friends. I should be able to patch up Skinny Pete and Friends in maybe 1 or 2 nights. I can get that thing out quick. That was a really quick write. I think I did it like in 3 months or 2 months or something. At the most, maybe a month. I don't know. I didn't really track it. It went by really quick. I got 60 pages, maybe 90 pages total. It'll be a little television pilot thing, you know, a little cable series pilot. We'll have to see. That probably I might as well patch that up, and then we'll move on to maybe Your Love with Paid Training. That would probably be set in Dallas. It'd be like a love story set in Dallas. And then maybe Vlogger versus Vlogger in the summer. So Your Love with Paid Training would be about Linda and I. And it'd be about a YouTube show, of course, because I want to initiate this stuff with YouTube. Like I want to bring in the vloggers in my story. I just like that idea because I'm doing it all the time, so I can bring it into the screenplay. That tree's been down quite a bit. Remember that tree right at Walnut Hill Lane? We're on Inwood right now. About 2.3 miles until the next flower drop. Roadie's a little slow right now, so we're headed back to Love Field. And they do luggage pickup here too for Roadie. Right here, kind of in the center of where this is, right here, baggage claim. Literally right past this first sign, you kind of see right across here on this straight shot. All the way from Florida. Alright, so we got some luggage picking up from Alaskan Airlines. And that'll be Terminal E. I do have the order number. So, remember that old Latino guy on the stand-up roller thing, whatever it was. I don't know, I hate to say this, but that guy's, let's put it this way, I think he jumped instead of jump the gun, he jumped the little roller thing. I don't even know if those are stand-up roller things. I'm gonna look it up, see what those are called. Little mall cops have them, you know, little security guard people, they're rolling around on those little things. Alright, I gotta pick up some luggage from Alaskan Airline Terminal E and drop it off, so if he does anything this time, then he gets a free visit to the Please Subscribe show on YouTube, because he'd be going too far in this case. It's a distance measuring equipment. The VOR stands for very high frequency omnidirectional radar. They used them in World War II. Get your body on straight there, kitty. And your mind. So we going to E15, just kind of in the center. I usually go to like E10 and stuff for secret Uber, but this one's actually known as a company called Roadie, which has been around. They reinstated my account, I don't know, a few weeks ago. So that's where we usually go. And now we'll be going this way. E15 is what we're looking for. That's E20 right here, so we're real close. And that's E15 right there. Matters how you end, not how you begin. It's always how you end, not how you begin, in the long run. All right, let's go. All right, so E16's right here, and then we're right over this way, over there. E15, we're looking for Alaskan Airlines. There's Clear if you're going through TSA. They'll scan your eyes and your hand right here. Right there. It's Delta, so we're looking for Alaska on E15. You see the mall cop, we get all his information. He's probably not around anymore. Because that fool is a little brave for a mall cop. They scoot around these little rollers. There's the baggage. It's going to be a Delta. Here's Alaskan. Probably that one right there. Yeah. It's most likely that one. I'll verify everything with you. Okay. Just doing this real quick. had one of your mall cops come after me for something. Alright, so that's the name on it. Appreciate it. This is Alaska Airlines, right?
Yes, Alaska Airlines.
Okay, got it. And we're on Terminal E, right?
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And if you can go on one, please.
Yeah, thank you. All right, so we got the luggage. See it right here. And that's coming out of Alaska Airlines. And we'll be crossing at E16 right over this way. It's a weird kind of bag. You walk in front of it, your heels click on it right there. Shit with it. Just gonna have to. There we go, that's a little bit better. The full thing goes all the way up like that. Now you can walk freely. Well, to a certain extent. I mean, they always say, you know, it's not free, it's not free. Wait till we get to Utopia and then finally we'll hopefully be free. There's a Francis Ford Coppola film coming out with Adam Driver. Utopia. Georgia has a thing called GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation. It's the only state that I know of that has their own independent bureau. With it. And help right there, I'll say that. There we go. Okay. Right, got their luggage. Now it's going to, I guess, their place of abode. Some guy with a helmet and one of those mall cop scooters, those stand-up scooters. Okay, goodness gracious. Oh man. All right, so now we're gonna drop that off and cut the copyright. There we go. Hell yeah! In this day and age, it doesn't even matter. They'll try to get you on the copyright music, you know, online. But it'll probably. I don't know how bad how legalistic everything's gonna be, but yeah, if you have music playing on the vlog, then you gotta watch out. I know he's just trying to do his job and everything. But I told him I was making a documentary. You got a permit? Yeah, I'll get your permit. How about that? I don't mean to be mean. All right, let's go ahead and drop this one off. more travels, AA Advantage, bonus miles, more tea time. Apply Aviator. New secret. It's called the QR scan. That way we can keep these for tax purposes. Got it. A.D.W. has a great little channel, and she reviews stuff, and she reviews Siamese Dream, which is a Smashing Pumpkins album. I'm listening to it right now. I went ahead and subscribed to her. She seems kind of cool. She's a legit reviewer. She's got her own little YouTube channel. I see it as legit. She's just talking about Smashing Pumpkins and, you know, liking it and everything. There's Linda. Information on Siamese Dream from A.D.W. They drew a map. They went analog. They stayed away from digital. That means they recorded everything like you would, like at a concert. They drew when the guitar would come in. They also used Mike Mills from REM to play piano. It was all done analog. That's what Billy wanted. Siamese Dream, it doesn't sound digital. It's amazing they went that way. Probably the same with Gish too. It was more like them just recording everything at one time. I'm getting more information. Check it out, A.D.W. She has fairy wings. She's, in this particular video, it's pretty tight and legit. It's not too inserty. She's pretty cool. And this is the trip from Alaskan Airlines for their luggage. So I guess they were on Alaskan Airlines and now they need their luggage. Legit drop coming out of Roadie. More information on Siamese Dream, Smashing Pumpkins from A.D.W. So there's a rumor on the very end of Space Boy, which is a great song for cinema. They had used a copyright insert. They were basically putting the music, or no, it's not music, it's a recording. Some thought it was from Geraldo Rivera show, and I don't think it is. But the agreement with the Smashing Pumpkins and that recording was that they could not reveal its source. So it's a copyrighted recording. I thought it was done by Billy, but it was actually they borrowed that and put it at the very end of Space Boy. It's still a mystery. Abigail doesn't know. So she's, you know, she did a little investigation trying to find out where it came from exactly, and they don't know. So they can't reveal where the recording came from because they'd break the copyright infringement. And they're still delivering the luggage. All the way from Louisiana. All right, according to the information from A.D.W., there were 30 songs written for Siamese Dreams, and a lot of them ran over to Pisces Iscariot and the deluxe album. That's what she said. So it's pretty cool. I like also how she talked about how Billy drew a map, and it was like it went off the page and stuff, and it was drawing a map to show when the guitar came in, and he kind of drew. It was like almost like an artwork. That should probably be worth quite a bit of money. Plus, a vinyl from the Smashing Pumpkins now, it's a pretty penny. It's about $50 right now if you want a vinyl from Smashing Pumpkins. Anyway, Siamese Dream news. So also more news about Smashing Pumpkins is Virgin Records was very kind of nasty with Billy Corgan and everything. They were upset because they weren't getting the music quick enough. And they also, the Smashing Pumpkins went $250,000 over budget. So it went over about $250,000 over budget. There is a song on it called French Movie Theme as well. I think that may be on a deluxe edition. And Abigail DeVoe, who's on YouTube, has a copy of the 2011 re-release, which has the artwork kind of imprinted with like a purple kind of Who kind of thing, right? So the original was more of like a photograph of the two ladies that were in the photo that have the wings. They're actually two girls at the time. Now they've grown up, and the Smashing Pumpkins in 2018 reused those two ladies in a video or something. They have like a blowtorch coming out doing something, and they have their wings on. Pretty interesting. So, I think I found something in that interview for Grace, aka Where Vlog, the screenplay, and of course the movie. Silver, F-U-C-K, as in silver, possibly could be entered into the soundtrack of Grace, aka Where Vlog. I also listened today to Harvest Moon with Neil Young. I thought something about that was cool. But Silver, because Silver thing. And there's a moment where they go through the gate, right? They go through the gate of Grace's ranch, and they break in, and they're using Mark, I think Mark is the Uber driver, and they convince him, and he goes through the gate, and they get into the ranch that way. You know, the authorities are called, and the social worker, Bill Billings, shows up, and he's, I want him to be played by, hopefully, Bob Balaban or someone of that nature. And maybe throw Will Ferrell in there too, as like a serious kind of cop. He's overseeing it, and Bill Billings is trying to create peace. He's like a social worker. It's a new kind of thing. And they're at the door, and they're talking to Grace and Rainey. Remember, Rainey was an ex-rock star. So to bring in Silver, F-U-C-K, at that moment, whenever they go through the gate, and we can also do it as diegetic music. We don't have to go non-diegetic. It could be on the I don't know, because they were drinking scotch. Because Gerald Oldman III gets them drinking scotch, and they decide just to ram the fence. It's very kind of like a really out there. And I think Silver, F-U-C-K, from the Smashing Pumpkins, that song might fit that scene. And the gates bust open, and they're it's kind of like the moment when Scorsese said put cream here in the script. He just wrote scream. Or I'm sorry, he wrote cream. So I could write a cue. That's why he did that. He was cueing the script. So he's like being secretive. So he just put cream in the script. So I'll go in and maybe say something like Silver F or something like that. I do mention Silver Fang. Maybe he says something in the dialogue. Well, I'll change my name from Silver Fang to Silver and F-U-C-K. And then, I'll have to remember to put that in there. It's another thing to remember. It's a screenplay. I'm drawing my own map in the screenplay. There's a moment in Silver, F-U-C-K, and Smashing Pumpkins in the Siamese Dream album. It goes on for a while. Right? There's a moment where that reaches its little climax, and it goes into drumming. So Jimmy Chamberlain's drumming comes in, right? And it's just the drumming almost. I see the gate stuck to the front of the Uber car, and that gate is kind of scraping, making sparks on the ground. And I see when the drums are going on that there is the sparks coming up from the gate stuck to the front of the Uber car. It's like, economy size car. And I see that happening at that moment. And also I see the song continuing on, and I think the song is on Mark's stuff right at the beginning. Then it switches over to non-diegetic, and it brings the cars in. There's scraping going on. You see that, and it's kind of messing up the car. It's a moment of lost control, where there's a moment of a loss of control with Mark driving, and Silver Fang in the back, Gerald Ullman III, and of course John Blacksmith, which hopefully will be played by Post Malone if I can talk him into it. And they're all in the back, and then you hear Silver, F-U-C-K, playing, and then there's scraping, like they're going right towards the front. Now the car will eventually run into the front of the house, knocking in the front door in the patio. And believe it or not, they don't go in for this. Once they realize these guys are crazy. I gotta pay attention to something. What it is in Silver, F-U-C-K, is the drums. That's like these soldiers coming in. Think of Apocalypse Now when, the Valkyrie, right? It's that kind of thing. Only this is with an Uber car, an Uber driver car, and them sitting in the back, these drunk YouTubers. All right, things happen. I saw a guy one time run the gate in an apartment one time. I don't think they took him in. I mean, it's a loss of control. And the driver's completely sober. He just gets convinced to do it for some reason. I think this might be it right here. We'll find it eventually. Alright. Got his luggage. See if it was sent it to Alaska. I don't know. I thought it was coming from Alaska. I don't really know. I mean, this luggage stuff, it's great that they have this company, though. Rhodey does this thing. Comes out of Georgia. It's pretty cool. Now I gotta do some math and figure out if we're gonna head back, and I'm probably gonna have, my rib is hurting on the side. I don't know if I'm gonna really be able to write rib. The revolutionary book. I got 12 chapters of it. I'll send it up probably October 8th or October 9th. I might do a 13th chapter to bring in establishing the protagonist. I'm telling you, screenplays are a nightmare, so are plays, but books, you would not believe the mental anguish of book. What the authors go through. It's all words and images. It's just, oh my gosh. When I wrote Escape from Maine, I was so detached and wandering around this dream state. The book really takes you out of like everything. So sometimes I'm a little weary on writing a book. Now, short story, you could write like maybe in a week or a few days. I don't have any problems with. A play, I love slowly constructing a play or a screenplay. But a book, writing a book, that's why, these interviews with Stephen King and things like that, always pay attention to, because I know those guys went through anguish to write things like that. Anyway, I don't know if we're going to head back to the airport. I got to look at numbers, and then we'll see where we go. We might probably end up in Fort Worth here pretty soon. There might be like a little kind of monologue or toward the tail end where he's talking to Mark, the Uber driver, and convincing him that this thing, is a werewolf, and it's going to kill more people in the town of Barksville and mutilate more cows and all this stuff. And they're sitting there for a while, and Mark's maybe a little tipsy, so then they may have like a little argument. And then John Blacksmith, either has his phone plugged in, because I know that happens a lot. You can plug in your phone to like the Uber driver's like USB kind of thing, like down here. And he puts on Silver, F-U-C-K, by the Smashing Pumpkins. It plays through almost, I think, to the point of where the drums are. And he decides, someone grabs it, or grabs his hand and pushes it into drive. So it goes into drive. And the car goes forward, busting the gates down. The gate wraps around the side of the car, and we've got Jimmy Chamberlain drums going on. That amazing drum beat. You can't even really scat it with Jimmy Chamberlain. He's one of the best drummers of all time since Rush, or all the bands really. Regardless, the car is dragging the fence, and sparks are going on, and you're hearing Jimmy Chamberlain's drum. We could even maybe isolate just that little aspect of the drums for a moment, and then we bring in the song. Of course, we'd have to get approval of the song, and that would be, communicating with Billy Corgan. Lynch was able to, so I don't know. He was able to use some of his stuff in, what's that movie called? The movie about the secret highway. So it'd be that kind of thing, and we'd have to see. But that's my little thing on it in a little moment. I think it'd be a great moment of them arriving, and the car goes, through the front door. Very dangerous to do. I don't recommend anybody trying to do that, but it'd be great to choreograph, though. We'd need some professional stuntmen, professional drivers, stuff like that. Okay.